It's 9 p.m. Monday night, while the rest of the world slows down. You're tuning in to the Final Boss podcast. This is Motivation Mondays, where mindsets shift, hustle gets honored, and the 6 pillars of success get broken all the way down. We're talking motivation, resilience, sacrifice, consistency, persistence, and perseverance. Hosted by the one and only Turbo, the CEO, bringing real talk, raw stories, and relentless energy to spark your week with purpose. So lock in, take notes, and remember, success ain't just a dream, it's a discipline.
Welcome to Motivation Monday, episode number 156. Episode number 156. Now, if my chair agree with me, then we won't have any issues, and we can get right into it. Listen, man, listen. I know it's 5 in the morning here, Eastern time, and I must say that, I wasn't feeling well last night, and I couldn't do the show, but I have to do the show. I have to do the show because it's in sequential order. And as we approach the end of season 3, it is very necessary to make sure that we stay on schedule for all of the episodes and we maintain a certain pecking order, right? Got to maintain that certain pecking order. And that's why I am here. We are here. I am here. Welcome to the Final Boss podcast, Final Boss Nation, Final Boss community. This is a momentous occasion, right? I have a great show for you to each and every last single one of you, no matter where you are. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night to all of you who are tuning in with us, no matter what time it is. Thank you. We greatly appreciate you. A few admin notes to get out. Listen. Keep sharing, subscribing, subscribe. Make sure you send us an email at info@thefinalbosspodcast.com, info@thefinalbosspodcast.com. While you're doing that, go check out our website, man. Go check out our website at The Final Boss Podcast, one word, thefinalbosspodcast.com, one word. Check out our website. You can see all of the episodes there. You can contact us, email us. You can do all the things directly from our website. Now, listen. Stay with me as we get ready to get started. Man, this is episode number 156. Episode number 156. I think I said episode 155 earlier, but I meant to say 156. 156 is tonight's episode. And tonight's episode is Weapons of Warfare. How to arm yourself for mental battle. Hey, Chill Gay, what's good? It's good. Welcome. Now, right, since we got the admin notes out the way, we got the greeting out the way, we thanked our people. Look, let's get right into it, man. So, right, think of this, right? Before you do anything else, right? Well, let me get rid of these bars real quick. Get those out the way. Right? Boom. Go away. Good job, Dillard. Good job. And it came back. Go away. All right, cool. Now, listen. Before you do anything else, before you check your phone, before you respond to that text, before you even think about clicking away from this stream, I need you to understand something critical about tonight's episode. And I'm telling you, what I'm about to tell you, I'm about to tell you a story. Right? That's going to make you uncomfortable. It's about a person who did everything right and still lost, right? So let's time travel. Let's say 2 years. 2 years ago, I watched the CEO. Let's just call him David, right? He built the perfect business infrastructure. He had impeccable time management, right? His finances were pristine. He was constantly learning. He worked out every single day without fail. He had an amazing team. This guy, man, let me tell you, this guy, he had all 5 systems of sovereignty running at peak maximum level capacity, right? His train was built perfectly. But when competition showed up, when his market got disrupted, when a hungrier, more aggressive competitor entered the territory, he got destroyed. He was wiped out. Not because his systems were weak, not because he didn't work harder than that individual, not because he lacked intelligence. He got destroyed because he had systems but no weapons. He had systems with no weapons. He brought the infrastructure to war, right? And that's the difference, right? And that's the difference between the things that we discussed in episode 152 and tonight's episode, right? So my smarts, to my motivators, to my warriors, to my final bosses, listen. Last time we built the fired up train, right? We discussed the 5 systems of sovereignty. Tonight, right? Tonight, this morning, wherever you are, right? We're arming that train. We're mounting the artillery and we're training the combat crew. Because here's what they don't tell you, right? This is what they don't tell you in business school and all these other they don't tell you these things, right? And they don't speak of it in self-help books, except for Go Time, All Aboard the Fired Up Train. We talk about this, right? But look out for that Go Time 2, baby. Go Time 2, it's on its way, man. Go Time 2, it's on its way. They don't tell you these things, man, in self-help books, in those soft motivational videos, right? The marketplace is a battlefield, right? Your industry is a war zone. Your competitors are armed, and if you show up with nothing but good systems and positive vibes, you're going to get annihilated. Do you hear me? You're going to get annihilated, right? So tonight we're going to be talking about the 4 weapons of warfare, right? How to prepare for battle when it comes to business or in your personal life, right? Number 1, we're going to be talking about strategic thinking, right? Strategic thinking. This is deeper than critical thinking. This is strategic thinking. You're the sniper rifle, right? This is about long range precision, planning ahead, waiting for the enemy, right? Number 2 is a tactical execution. This is where your assault rifle would play out, right? This is for close combat dominance, right? And number 3, adaptive intelligence, right? That's your body armor, your defense systems, your defense agility. And number 4, relentless follow through. Because when you are throwing them down range at the target, you have to keep throwing them down range at the target. This is your battering ram, right? The no retreat finishing move, right? We're all gamers. You know about finishing moves. You know about finishing moves, right? Especially if you grew up in the 80s. You already know. So I'm going to show you how to load, aim, and fire each weapon with precision, with lethal precision, right? Listen, but I gotta warn you. I have to warn you. If you're sensitive, if you prefer a softer language, if you think business is about collaboration and win-wins and abundance for everyone, this episode is not for you, right? Go ahead and click away. Look, thanks for joining us, but this episode is not for you. Because the Final Boss podcast is about the most difficult of conversations. We train warriors, we build conquerors, we create legends who dominate this sector and leave competitors wondering what the hell just happened, right? So, this is the Final Boss podcast. I am your host, the Final Boss, all right? The war has already started. My smarts, my motivators, my warriors, the Final Bosses, they know this, right? They know the war had already started. The only question is, Are you ready? Are you armed? All aboard the fired up train, because now we can already equip ourselves how to conduct battle and business, right? So let's get into it, man. Let's get into it. Let's get into our brass tacks of the evening. Our brass tacks comes from none other than I. Tonight's brass tacks comes from me. So here it is. You can have the best systems in the world, but without weapons, you're bringing a calculator to a gunfight. Systems keep you alive. Weapons make you dominant. That's our brass tacks. And shout out to me, right? Because that's coming from me. So, man, look, before we get ready to get into this weaponized uh, information packet, right? We got to establish, or TM, tech manual, right? We have to establish why you need both systems and weapons, because some of you are confused right now. You're confused. Admit it. Admit that you're confused. The final boss, didn't we just build the 5 systems in episode 152? Isn't that enough? No, it is not enough. And here's why, right? Systems equal defense. Weapons equal offense. Your 5 systems of sovereignty, time, money, knowledge, body, relationships, those are fortifications. They're your base, right? They're your supply lines. They keep you alive. They keep you operational. They ensure you don't self-destruct. But you don't win wars with defense alone, right? You don't dominate markets by just staying alive. You don't become final bosses by having good infrastructure. You need offensive capabilities, right? You need weapons. You need tools of conquest. Now, let me give you a perfect analogy, right? Let me give you a perfect analogy. Your 5 systems are like the fired up train, right? The engine, the tracks, the fuel system, maintenance crew, that's what keeps you moving. But your 4 weapons, those are your artillery mounted weapons that are on the train, the cannons that are on the sides, the missiles that are on the roof, the armor plating that's on the front. And if you ever seen armored train from like World War II, that's what we're building tonight, right? Because here's the truth about the marketplace, about the industry, about your competition, right? They don't care about your systems. Your competitors don't care that, guess what? It's real ironic that we up at 5 a.m. They don't care, right? They don't care that you're watching the Final Boss podcast at 5 in the morning. Your competitors don't care. Your market doesn't care that you have a budget. Your clients don't care that you're learning every single day. Your industry doesn't care about you and your workouts and you're eating clean. They don't care about none of that stuff, right? What they do care about is if you have the capacity and the capabilities to win, to beat them, right? Can you outthink the competition? That is your strategic thinking. Can you out execute your rivals? That's your tactical execution. Can you adapt when circumstances change? That's your adaptive intelligence. Can you outlast everyone when it gets hard? That's logistical planning. That's also relentless follow through, right? That's what weapons give you, the ability to win in contested territory. Now here's the thing, right? Here's what I need you to know. And this is something I need you to understand, right? These aren't just skills. Skills are things you practice. These are weapons that are your tools you deploy with intent to achieve a specific outcome. That outcome is victory, right? Strategic thinking is your long range weapon. It's your sniper rifle. You see what's coming in 6 months, 12 months, 3 years and out. While your competitors are focused on this week, on this very moment. You're positioning for next year. Your sniper rifle, you take out the threats before they even see you, right? Now, with tactical execution, that's your close combat, right? You dominate the moment. You dominate the moment to moment. You dominate day to day. Those battles, right? When others are planning and overthinking, you're acting. You're taking ground. You're winning the small battles because small battles wins wars. Small battles wins wars, right? Right. And that comes from your assault rifle. You overwhelm the competition with speed and precision, right? Now, let's talk about adaptive intelligence. Adaptive intelligence is your defense weapon, right? When the market rifts or shifts, right? When trends change, when competitors zig and zag, right? Well, rather, when the competitors zig, you zag. Stay with me. You just got started. Stay with me. Don't go nowhere, right? You're never caught flat footed. You pivot, you adjust, you survive what comes after you, right? Or what takes out others. That's your body armor. You take the hits and you keep on moving, right? Now, let's talk about relentless follow through, right? That's your finishing weapon, right? Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning. For those who are just now joining us, good morning, right? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, right? Because we're everywhere at the same time. Um, Relentless follow through, right? That's your finisher move. When everyone else gets tired, quits, loses interest, right? You carry on, you move on, you keep going. You're still standing, you're still there. You're resilient. And resilience is one of the 6 pillars of success, right? You finish what you start, you close what you open, you complete missions that your battering ram, that's your battering ram. Right? You break through walls, you break through ceilings while everyone else is bouncing off, right? They're not breaking through. Now, I just gave you the 4 weapons. Each serve its purpose. And together with all the other principles and theories, you can become unstoppable. So, as we break down each single one of those elements tonight, I want you to think, how sharp how sharp is my weapon, right? How often do I deploy it? How deadly do I need to be with it? Because you can't sharpen what you won't inspect. You can't wield what you haven't trained with. And to my smarts, to my motivators, to my warriors, to my final bosses, right? The systems that that kept you alive, right? Now the weapons you make legendary. This is what we're referring to. So let's go, man. Let's go. It's go time. And if you haven't picked up Go Time, All Aboard the Fired Up Train, go pick up my first book, Go Time, All Aboard the Fired Up Train, as I'm preparing for Go Time 2, right? Go Time 2 is on its way, right? And listen carefully, because strategic thinking, as I stated before, is your long range weapon. This is your ability to see beyond the immediate battle and to see the entire war campaign, the entire battlefield, right? Strategic thinking is how you position yourself for victory months and years before competition or competitors even see the threat coming. That's your sniper warfare, right? You're taking out targets from distance they can't even comprehend. Now, most people are operating with no strategic thinking, right? They're planning for today, for this moment. They're acting or reacting out of their situation and circumstance. Most people are like firemen, constantly putting out fires, being reactive instead of being proactive, right? They're responding, they're fighting whatever battle is in front of them today with no thought about what's coming tomorrow, right? And that's not a warrior a casualty, right? Waiting to happen. So, what is strategic thinking? What is strategic thinking in this aspect, right? It's your long range vision acquisition. Your strategic thinking is a 6, 12, and 18 months into the future. You're identifying what markets are about to shift, what trends are to explode, what competitors are about to enter your territory, what opportunities are about to open, what threats are about to emerge, right? And while everyone else is looking at this particular quarter, at this particular moment, you're positioned for next year. That's strategic dominance, right? Now, we spoke on competitive intelligence, right? And the competitive intelligence is the gathering, right? It's the gathering of information. You're studying how your enemies move. You are planning how your competitors and your competition operate, right? You know their strengths. You have done your SWOT analysis on them, your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and your threats, right? You see the patterns. You see their next moves. You're not just focused on your train, you're tracking every train in the territory, right? And who's launching what? Who's hiring who? Who's raising capital and who's entering your market? Who's vulnerable? Who's dangerous, right? And this might sound like business talk, but it also could be applicable to your personal life, right? And all my motivators, my smarts, my warriors, and my fighter bosses, they know this, right? I speak in metaphors. Your train is your life, right? And strategic thinking means you're never surprised because you saw it. You saw it coming. You saw it coming, right? Now, let's talk about something called resource positioning. Yeah, resource positioning, right? This is your strategic thinking, and it's not just about knowing the future, right? It's about positioning resources to exploit it, right? You're moving your time, your money, your energy, your relationships to the places where future battles will be fought. You're not putting all your ammunition in yesterday's war. You're loading up for tomorrow's victory, right? Remember that. Remember that, right? Stay with me. Don't you go nowhere. Stay with me. Stay with me, right? Most people think in one dimension. How do I beat the competition? How do I overcome my competitors? How do I fix my relationship? Right? How you do it is through strategic thinking. Strategic thinking operates in multiple dimensions. If I win this battle, I win this situation, I win this circumstance, does it position me for the next 3 battles? Or does it leave me open and vulnerable? Right? You're playing chess while they're playing checkers. You're thinking about 3 moves ahead while they're thinking 1 move ahead, right? Now, you have to have an exit strategy. You have to have an exit strategy, right? And you have to plan your exit strategy because your exit strategy should also be a win. And here's what separates strategic thinking from tactical thinking. Strategic thinking, always know exit and channel. It's called back or reverse engineering. Man, I thought I lost you guys. Backwards planning or reverse engineering. All right. Before you hire someone, you know how they'll scale or separate your operation. Before you invest resources, you know your return on investment or when to cut it off. You don't get stuck in bad positions because you're strategic thinking. Your strategic is the weapon planned extract that's planning the extraction, the insertion. Now, here's what most people get wrong about strategic thinking. They think it's just planning or goal setting. No, 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 no. No, that's wrong. Strategic thinking is open because it gives you competitive advantage. It's not just about your plans. It's about positioning against your competitors' weaknesses, right? You're not just building your train to go fast. You're building to go faster than the train. Or you're building better tracks than they have, right? Or you're fueling your fired up train with better fuel than they're using. And look, over the next week or so, of course, I'm gonna bring the call to actions, man. I want you to start conducting strategic reconnaissance on your life, on your business, on your competition, right? Write this down, man. Go get your pen and paper and write this down. And think about the 5 top players in your market. What's their next move? Where are they vulnerable, right? What opportunities are they missing that you can seize? And if you don't understand, you can also use this in your personal life, right? Right? Do a strategic reconnaissance on your personal life, right? That's strategic thinking. That's strategic thinking, people, as a weapon, not just a skill, right? Now, let's make this strategic thinking weapon armor piercing, right? We need the armor. So our first thing that we're going to do is called the you're not just planning, right? You're not just planning one future, right? You're strategic thinking, right? Not just one future. You're planning for multiple scenarios and best case scenarios, right? From top to bottom. What if everything goes right? Everything goes right, then what do you do next? You maximize. Worst case scenario. What if everything goes wrong? What do you do next? How do you survive? Right? How do you survive? And then there's the most likely scenario, right? The average of the two, right? Most likely is what's probably going to happen and how do you optimize that for success. Now, a lot of people in business, they speak of a certain, they call it a black swan. You probably heard it, especially people who watch a lot of business trends and things of that nature and watch charts, right? There's this thing called a black swan, right? What if something unexpected disrupts everything you're doing? How adaptable are you when it comes to that? If you run these 4 scenarios through every major decision, that's your advanced strategic thinking, right? Now, you also, after you do your SWOT analysis, you have to do what is called a consequence analysis, right? Right? Because most people think they think in first order. If I do X, then Y will happen, right? Strategic thinking operates second and third order. If I do X, Y will happen, which will cause Z to react, which will create opportunity A, which will threaten competitor B, right? You see that you see it in a 3D model, right? You see the cause and effect and the what ifs. It's a 3D model. You're not just thinking about direct consequences of your actions, you're thinking about the cascading effects across the entire battlefield, right? Uh, you know, then there's um asymmetric advantage identification, right? This is advanced warfare, right? You're not just fighting competitors on their terms, you're changing the rules of engagement. You are becoming not, and in that, right? I spoke of this before on one of my other episodes about not being a chess piece, thinking broader, no more chess pieces, right? Yeah, they're playing checkers, but you're going further than the chess piece. Now you're the chess board, right? You're changing the rules of the game. You're changing the rules of engagement. And instead of how do I beat them at that game, you say, what game can I play that they can't win? How do you change the scenario of the game to fit only your scenario, right? Only your scenario. Now, um, strategic thinking finds the battlefield where you have the advantage and your competition has the weakness, right? Advanced strategic thinking understands you don't have to fight every battle alone. Who are potential allies against a common competitor, right? What partnerships can you create? We're talking about mutual advantages, right? What alliances make you stronger together than apart? This is how empires are built. And remember, no empire was ever built alone. These CEOs, these multi-billionaire people, they didn't build these empires alone. They did it strategically through strategic alliances, right? That multiply your force without multiplying costs, right? Now, the strategic patience discipline. This is something that is probably the hardest part of strategic thinking, right? You have to know when not to fight. You have to know when to say, you know what, I will allow you to win this small battle, right? Because sometimes the best strategic move is to wait. You're like a sniper, you're waiting for the best opportunity, right? To let competition or competitors exhaust themselves, right? Because you know, from a logistical standpoint, they don't have the logistics to continue the fight, right? You let the markets mature, right? You let your opportunities ripen, right? Strategic thinking knows I can win this battle today, right? But if I wait, I can win the war, right? With half the resources. That's the discipline of strategic thinking. You wait for the perfect opportunity and then you take the shot, right? And then if you can, right? If you can, if it's possible, you do a strategic thinking upgrade, right? You do a strategic thinking upgrade, right? Pick your biggest strategic objective that you may your goal or whatever you're trying to do in the next 12 months. Pick the biggest goal or opportunity objective that you're looking to accomplish in the next 12 months, right? Run these four scenarios, right? Map out the second and third tier of consequences, right? Identify your asymmetric advantage. Find potential strategic ally, right, in your bubble, and determine optimal timing. That's how you transform from someone who plans ahead to someone who dominates through superior strategic thinking. Because here's the ultimate truth: the competitor with superior strategic thinking, they win the war. before the battle even is fought. Your competition don't even know it yet, but the battle is won. You're not just reacting to the market, you're positioning yourself so that when the market moves, it moves in your favor. And that's the power of strategic thinking, right? That's the power of strategic thinking. Now, let's talk about tactical execution, right? To my motivators, to my warriors, to my smarts, to my final bosses. Tactical execution is your assault rifle. This is close quarters combat. This is winning. This is what we call in the military CQC. This is winning the battle that's happening right now, right in front of you at this very moment, right? This is today. This is your hour. Because here's the problem with most people. They're great at planning, but terrible at executing. They think strategically, but can't win tactically. They see the future, but can't dominate the present. That's like having a perfect battle plan, but freezing when the perfect shot is fired, right? Right? Tactical execution is your ability to move, act, and dominate, right? As in the military, we would say, I'm not going to tell you that, but it ends with communicate, right? I can't give you those gems. Can't do it, right? Right? Move, act, dominate, and those who know. And this is in real time, under pressure with incomplete information, right? The first rule of tactical execution is when in doubt, you move. Indecision is death on the battlefield. Analysis paralysis, people. Analysis paralysis will take you out. Waiting for perfect information means you lose the position to someone else who's moved first, right? Remember, not playing checkers. Tactical execution means ready, fire, aim. You take the shot with 70% information because 100% information takes too long and the opportunity is gone. You adjust as you go. You course correct in motion and you move, right? And you move. In tactical combat, speed is often more valuable than precision. Perfection, I'm sorry. Fast and 80%. Right beats slow, and 100% right every time is a possible loss. You don't have the energy to take on the possible loss. You're not taking on losses, right? Why? Because while you're executing at 80%, you're learning, you're gathering real data, you're adapting, you're improving to 85%, then 90%, and then 95%. Meanwhile, your competitor is still planning, still analyzing, still trying to get to 100% before they even act. By the time they move, you already won and moved on to the next target, right? You have to have what is called tactical prioritization, right? Tactical prioritization. Not every battle deserves your attention. Tactical execution knows this. What's the one battle I must win today? Small battles wins wars. Small battles wins wars. Remember that. You don't spread your forces across 10 objectives. You mass your forces on the one objective that matters most right now, this instant, right? Small battles win wars. Every morning, what's the one tactical victory that makes me that moves me toward strategic dominance, right? Then you pour all your resources into the one objective and it's conquered, right? Tactical execution cuts through the complexity like a knife, like a hot knife cutting through butter. No overthinking, no over planning, no over analyzing. You simply are taking action that gets you closest to the victory, because complex plans fall or complex plans fail in combat all the time. Any general, any leader would tell you that complex plans fail in combat all the time because you don't know all the variables, right? It's the simple plans of execution under pressure, right? That's your tactical execution, right? What's the next action? Not the next 10 actions, right? The next one. Then you execute that. Then you wash, rinse, repeat, right? It's like it's like a tactical feedback loop, right? But when it comes to tactical execution, tactical execution means you're getting real-time data on what's already working. You don't wait for quarterly review. You don't wait for annual assessment. You execute. You measure in the same day. Did that tactically move on? Learning faster than competition, execute more than your competition. Now, here's what makes tactical execution a weapon instead of just taking action. It's the coordinated effect that you use when you're using strategic thinking. Sorry about that. Your strategy says where to fight. Your tactics say how to fight. And you do it today. Right? You're not just randomly acting, you're executing tactical maneuvers that serve your strategic objective. For the next 7 days, I want you to start practicing tactical speed, right? I'm always giving you guys tasks. Like, you know what? Final boss always giving us tasks. Listen, every day is a task. You want to be better? Every day is a task. You have to identify your tactical priority, right? Set a timer for 90 minutes. Execute one priority. No distractions, no multitasking, pure tactical focus. Right? Now watch what happens, right? Watch what happens when you bring the AR energy to daily execution, right? Now, let's take tactical execution to special forces level, right? Right? This comes from the thought processes of a fighter pilot, right? You observe, you orient, you decide, you act. The competitor who completes the OODA loop faster wins the dogfight, right? What's happening right now? What does it mean for my position? What's my response, right? Execute immediately. The feedback loop or the loop back to observe the results and start again. You're cycling through this loop faster than your competition. While they're still observing, you're already acted. While they're decoding and deciding, you're already moved on to the next cycle. Speed through the OODA loop is tactical dominance, right? Advanced tactical execution knows this. Perfect is the enemy of done, just like comfort is the enemy of growth. You execute when you're 80% ready, not 100% ready. When 80%, because why 80%? You say why? Why? Because that's the inflection point where waiting costs more than the risk of imperfection. Below 80%, you're being reckless. Above 80%, you're being slow. At 80%, you're being lethal. Train yourself to recognize 80% readiness and execute without hesitation, right? And here's where tactical execution meets adaptive intelligence. You execute, you gather data, and the data says this isn't working. How fast can you pivot? Advanced tactical execution has the pivotal, has a pivot protocol built inside of it. Recognition, how fast do you see it's not working? You target, move on within the next 48 hours, right? Your decision making, how fast do you decide to change? You target and you disengage within 24 hours. Execution, how fast do you implement the change? Target 24 hours, right? From problem recognition to new tactic deployed, 96 hours time frame maximum in and out, right? Most companies take 6 months to pivot. You take 4 days. That's advanced tactical execution, right? You can't execute everything yourself. Advanced tactical execution multiplies your force through your team. You execute the high value tactics. You delegate the necessary but lower value tactics. You execute or delegate the low hanging fruit. You eliminate the unnecessary tactics. Your tactical execution gets multiplied across your entire team, executing their assigned tactical objective in coordination, right? But that's how you win. That's how you win. Multiple battles simultaneously instead of one battle at a time, right? Now, look, stay with me. Don't go nowhere. Don't go nowhere. Don't you go nowhere. Every evening for the next, every evening, I want you to take, this is my third call to action of this particular episode, right? Every evening, take 15 minutes out of your time, right? Take 15 minutes out of your time and do a tactical debrief of what your day was, right? What were your objectives? How did you execute? What worked? What failed? Did you learn anything that you could apply for tomorrow, right? What's tomorrow's primary objective, right? This is a 15-minute ritual that you can turn into a learning opportunity in your life every single day. That makes you sharper, faster, more deadlier when it comes to tactical execution. And here's your advantage point, right? Here's your advantage point. We're going to take it even further. Let's talk 30 days, right? We're going to talk about 30 days and how you execute this protocol, right? In the morning, identify one priority, right? You execute 90 minutes of focus time, right? You pivot if what you're doing is not working by midday. You change your approach immediately, right? In the evening, you debrief. Now, if you do this for 30 days, right? You do this for 30 days, you become sharp, fast, and I hope these algorithms don't block me. I'm talking business people. Oh, this is for entertainment purposes only. Entertainment purposes only, people. Right? All right, cool. You are understanding how you're moving at maximum velocity. That's the power of tactical execution, right? Right? And smarts, motivators, warriors, final bosses. This right here is probably the most critical piece of tonight's show, right? We're going to be talking about adaptive intelligence, right? Adaptive intelligence is the weapon, because you have to be able to adapt. The battlefield is changing constantly, right? If strategic thinking is your sniper rifle, and tactical execution is your AR, and adaptive intelligence is your body armor, then this is what keeps you alive when everything goes wrong. Let me tell you something about combat, right? That business schools don't teach you. No plan survives first contact with the enemy. Like Mike, you ever get in a fight and you get punched first? The plan goes out the door. As Mike Tyson said, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the fucking face, right? No plan survives first contact. That's in business, right? That's in your personal life. You can have the perfect strategy. You can execute flawlessly, but the moment you engage, the market shifts, the competition does something unexpected, technology disrupts your sector, regulations change, anything can happen. A freaking pandemic can be dumped on society. Everything changes, right? And in that moment, the competitor with superior adaptive intelligence, they survive and they thrive, while everyone else is taken out. So what is the adaptive intelligence, you ask? What is adaptive intelligence, right? Adaptive intelligence means you're constantly scanning your sector for what changes may occur. You're not focused on your plan so much so that you miss what's actually happening around you. You're monitoring, right? You're monitoring everything: the market, the competition, your customers, your technology, your regulatory shifts, the policies, economic indicators, right? You're like a combat soldier with 360-degree awareness. You see threats and opportunities from every direction. You become a master of SWOT, right? If you don't know what SWOT is strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. You become a master of the SWOT analysis, right? Adaptive intelligence spots patterns before they're obvious. You see three small signals and you recognize this is the beginning of a major shift. It's all patterns and you see it, you recognize it, while others wait for confirmation, for conscious, right? For the trend to be obvious. You're already adapting. right? And like in for example, in 2019, some people saw these three signals: remote work increasing, video conferencing improving, commercial real estate softening. They adapted early. When 2020 hit, they were in position while everyone else was scrambling. Adaptive intelligence sees the pattern and move before the crowd starts moving, right? This is hard, people. This is hard. I know, right? This is hard for most people because changing your mind when evidence changes is a skill, right? Adaptive intelligence doesn't get attached to plans, strategies, or approaches. You're attached to winning, and winning is all that matters, not being right. If your strategy isn't working, you must adapt. If your tactics are failing, you must adapt. If your assumptions were wrong, you must adapt. No ego, no stubbornness, no, 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 no. Right? And to this the special person out there, you know who you are. No ego, no stubbornness. No, 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 no. But you've always done it that way. Well, now it's time to change. You must be adaptive in your responses, right? Be adaptive in your responses, and in reality, right? Adaptive intelligence treats everything as an experiment. You're not making permanent decisions. You're running tests, constantly running tests. I run tests all day long, man. All day long, looking for data, looking for holes, looking for areas where my wins can lead to a loss, right? Like James Winston said, we eat W's over here. We're eating W's, baby, right? Adaptive intelligence, right? Now, let's try this approach and see what happens, right? Let's test this tactic for 30 days. Let's pilot this strategy in one market. When you approach everything experimentally, you're always gathering data, always learning, always able to adapt based on results. Adaptive intelligence doesn't lock resources into fixed positions. You keep resources mobile, flexible, and ready to redeploy at a moment's notice. And if you don't think you can apply this to your personal life, man, you need to re-listen to this episode, right? You can absolutely transition this information into your personal life, right? You don't go all in on one approach. You keep reserves. You maintain optionally. You preserve the ability to pivot. That means you don't get or bet the entire company on one strategy. That's will lead to failure, right? You don't commit all of your time to one project. You don't invest all of your capital in one opportunity. You maintain fluidity so you can adapt when conditions change. Now, here's why adaptive intelligence is a weapon. Your competitors are rigged or rigid. Yeah, I meant to say rigid. I'm sorry. Your competitors are rigid. They made their plan. They committed their resources. They're locked in. When the market shifts, they can't adapt fast enough. They're like battleship trying to turn. It takes forever. We've seen this in the dot-com boom. How many companies failed because they weren't adaptive? We're talking about Kodak's, Blockbuster, and there's hundreds of more. They could not adapt to the dot-com and they failed, right? Those companies failed, right? When the market shifts, you have to be adaptable, right? But listen, to my smarts, to my motivators, to my warriors, to my final bosses, you understand this. You're like a speedboat. You see the shift, you turn. You're already moving in the new direction while you're still processing what happened. That's adaptive intelligence. And that gives you the competitive advantage, right? Now, let's upgrade adaptive intelligence, right? Let's upgrade it, right? Nah. maybe we won't upgrade. Maybe we'll save that for my subscribers when I put this channel and training together. Mm-hmm. Right? All right. All right. All right. We went through a lot of different scenarios and situations, circumstances, and all these other things. Before we deploy the fourth and final weapon, I need you to check who's still in the fight. If you're still locked in, if you're taking tactical notes, if you're already identifying which weapons you need to sharpen, I need you to drop that information in the chat right now. In the chat, right? Let's see who's battle ready. Let's see who came here to get armed. Let me see my warriors, my final bosses, and my smarts who are combat ready, right? Yes. I'm talking to all of you guys out there who are watching right now, this instant, this moment, and who is locked in and who's ready to get engaged in combat training. This is where it's this is what separates the Final Boss podcast from everybody else. We don't just talk about competition, we arm you for it. Look, quick shout out to a couple people out there, man. I see my guy Dominique out in Seattle, Ashley who's out in Houston, and my man Mark is out in Detroit. Man, thank you guys for constantly being here and being a part of the Final Boss community, Final Boss Nation. This is what I'm talking about, man. You're not waiting for these perfect situations. You're loading up right now and figuring it out. You're figuring it out real time, right? And listen, if this is the first time you've been with the Final Boss podcast, welcome to the Warzone, right? You just got enlisted and you are about to be battle ready, and because this is a battle ready community, right? Excuse me. More coffee, please. We don't do victim mentality in this battalion, right? I'm your sergeant major, right? I'm the command sergeant major, right? We don't do victim mentality in this battalion. We don't accept or do excuses in this unit. We don't retreat in this army. We're building Final Boss warriors. We're building Final Boss. We're building warriors. We're building smarts. We're building motivators. People who are armed, trained, and ready to dominate in contested markets, hostile territories, and competitive battlefield. If that's you, enlist right now. Sign up right now. I got to look. Sign up right now, right? And then you go like, share, and follow. Because we're conducting training operations 5 times a week. 5 times a week now, right? Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and now Wednesday and Thursday, right? Those are our episodes now, because this week I have a new episode, a new show that's being developed as we speak called Merger Wednesdays, right? Merger Wednesdays, man. It's coming this Wednesday, right? That's 5 hours a week of tactical training, strategic briefings, weapon qualification, designed to make you lethal in whatever market and in your personal life, right? And also go pick up Go Time all aboard the Fired Up train. And if you're getting any value out of tonight's episode, if it resonates with you, right, in this training, make sure you share it with another warrior, somebody who's possibly has the skill sets that need to be refined. Go share it with another warrior, another Final Boss, another smart, right? Another motivator. Go share it with them, right? Tag them. Send them the coordinates, because the people who you care about deserve to have this information, and they deserve to have it with good intentions, right? So real quick, we talked about strategic thinking. We talked about tactical execution. We talked about adaptive intelligence. Now we're deploying the fourth and possibly most brutal protocol in this message altogether, right? The one that separates the warriors from wannabes, the finishers from the starters, and the champions from the participants. We're talking about relentless follow-through. Your battling ram that finishes what you started, right? Stay with me. Stay in the information, man. Stay with me. Don't go nowhere. We're almost out. We're almost done. We're about to go full assault mode, right? We're going to be talking about, and listen, especially my smarts. Listen carefully. This might be the very scenario that matters most, because all the strategy that we've discussed, all the execution, all the adaptations methods that we've talked about, nothing is nothing if you don't finish. If strategic thinking is your sniper rifle, tactical execution is your AR, and adaptive intelligence is your body armor, then relentless follow through is your battering ram. It's the weapon that breaks through when everyone else bounces off. Let me hit you with a little brutal truth, right? The marketplace is full of people who with great and amazing ideas, right? I just learned that becoming an author that there's 100,000 books that are released daily, right? And that field of competition, right? It's full of people who start strong. It's full of people who are full of potential. It's full of super smart individuals. Look, I'm not the smartest. I'm not the smartest, right? There are plenty of smart people out there, people who are way smarter than I. But this is different, right? It's empty of people who finish, right? And look, starting is common. Starting is common. Finishing is rare. And the gap between starting and finishing, that's where fortunes are made, empires are built, legends are created. Relentless follow through is your ability to keep swinging when everyone else drops the bat, to keep pushing when everyone else takes a break, to keep executing when everyone else loses interest, right? Now, relentless follow through means you're obsessed with finishing. You want to know why I'm doing this episode right now, right here, right now? Because I needed to. I needed to push through because I am obsessed with getting this information out, and I needed to get it through because I am on a timeline on our way to episode number 200. And if I break the timeline, then I have to restructure the process, right? I'm obsessed. You have to be obsessed with finishing. You don't start projects and you won't complete. You don't make compliments, you don't make commitments, you won't keep. You don't begin battles, you won't win. Every project has one status: done or not started. There's no in progress in limbo. There's no I'll get back to it someday. There's no mostly finished. It's either done or it doesn't exist, right? In the words of the great Yoda, you do or you don't do, right? And here's where most people fail. They start strong, then life happens. Momentum dies. Relentless follow through has a rule, right? 96 hours of starting anything, you must take the next action. You have an idea, execute the next in 96 hours, or it's dead. You start a project, you make progress within 96 hours, or you abandon. You make a commitment, you must demonstrate follow through within 96 hours, or apologize and withdraw. This prevents the graveyard of good intentions that most people accumulate, right? Most people execute in the first 90% of just emotional energy, right? Then they quit, and then they fail, right? Why? Because the final 10% is harder, less exciting, longer, and more tedious. Relentless follow through understands that the final 10% is where victory lives. The final 10% is like the final 10% of a great cigar, right? Cigar smokers know exactly what that final 10% is, right? They finish it, right? Because relentless follow through understands that the final 10% is where victory lives. Anyone can do 90%. Champions complete the final 10% that everyone else abandons, right? Relentless follow through has systems to prevent quitting, right? Right? It has systems to prevent quitting, right? You're not relying on motivation to finish. You're using systems to ensure completion. Relentless follow through isn't just what you do, it's what you are. You are not someone who tries to finish. You're a finisher. That's your identity. Finishers don't abandon projects. Finishers don't leave things incomplete. Finishers don't quit when it gets hard. When your identity is I'm a finisher, your behavior automatically aligns. Now, here's why relentless follow through is a weapon, right? Your competitors start just as many things as you do, maybe more, right? But do they finish? Some do, some don't. While they're starting project number 47, you're completing project number 3. And completed projects win. Started projects lose. Think about it, right? Completed book. Just did that. It started as a manuscript, right? It's completion. You started with a prototype. You ended with the completed product, right? You started with an outline to teach a course. The complete process is the course, right? You started out with an idea. The completed product is you started a business. The finisher with 3 completed projects dominates the starter with 30 incomplete projects. And look, you can test this theory, man. Look, you can test this theory. I want you to take your most incomplete project that you're working on right now, and I want you to finish it. Not start something new. I want you to finish what you started. That's relentless follow through. Now, let's take relentless follow through, and let's what? Oh man, I'm a little bit over. Okay, all right. You know what? I'll leave that for another time. Let's talk about all 4 weapons of warfare. But here's what makes you lethal, right? These weapons that we discussed don't operate in isolation. They work as an integrated combat system. Watch how Final Boss deploys. Watch how Final Boss deploys all 4 in a coordinated warfare, right? Starting with strategic thinking. Strategic thinking identifies a target and plans for a campaign. Tactical execution wins the daily battle towards that target. Adaptive intelligence adjusts when battlefield conditions change. Relentless follow-through ensures you reach your objective no matter what. Now, let me show you how this works, right? Here's a scenario, right? You're analyzing the market, you're looking at your competition, and you're looking at it from a 12-month campaign to like 20% market share, right? You see strong on price, but weak customer experience. That's your asymmetric advantage, right? And every single you execute these right, and you win. You will win. Capable to see the battlefield. You're sharpening your skill sets, right? Because having these systems is one thing, but maintaining them is another, right? You must have maintenance on your systems, because over time, if you don't maintain them, it won't be razor sharp. You have to maintain them, right? And you could go through the process, practice, right? Practice, man. Practice leads to critical execution, right? Practice leads to critical execution, because it's one thing to execute. It's another to be able to maintain. You have to have the loop back, the feedback loop, the wash, rinse, repeat cycle. You have to have that, right? And if you are doing these for these systems, let me tell you, you're going to execute critically. Now, before we conclude tonight's episode, Final Bosses, Warriors, Motivators, Smarts, I want you to leave with this Warrior's Creed, right? And I want you to understand that this is what separates those who are ready than those who are not ready. From conquerors to those being conquered, to the final bosses to the participants, right? And here's the Warrior's Creed, right? I want you to say, I am strategically positioned. I see what others miss. I plan what others ignore. I position where others overlook. My strategic thinking gives me vision that creates advantage. I am tactically superior. I move while others hesitate. I execute while others deliberate. I win today while others plan for tomorrow. My tactical execution gives me speed that creates dominance. I am adaptively intelligent. I pivot, knife hand, while others persist. I adjust while others freeze. I survive while others perish. My adaptive intelligence gives me flexibility that creates resilience. I am relentlessly committed. I finish while others fade. I complete while others quit. I persist while others retreat. My relentless follow through gives me completion that creates victory. I am armed for battle, not with hope, but with weapons, with concepts, with systems, not with wishes, right? Not with intentions, but with execution. And lastly, say, I am a final boss. I don't compete. I dominate. I don't participate. I conquer. I don't hope. I execute. This is my creed. This is my identity. This is my destiny. Now, to my smarts, I want you to say this with me, right? I want you to say this with me. If you're ready and you're committed and you're ready to and you're becoming a warrior in this marketplace, I want you to say, I'm ready. I am a final boss. And you say it in the chat. Say it out loud. Say it until you believe it. Because belief without weapons is delusion, but weapons with belief is unstoppable. You're not just motivated after tonight's episode. You're weaponized. You're not just inspired. You're armed. You're not just hopeful. You're dangerous. And when you show up in your marketplace with all your weapons loaded, trained, and deployed, your competition and your competitors won't know what hit them. Right now, smarts, final bosses, warriors. Whew. Motivators. We've covered some serious combat territory and combat conversation tonight when it comes to business and personal relationships, right? The 4 weapons of warfare, episode number 156. Arm yourself for battle, right? And if you're watching and if you're watching this training replay, go back and take tactical notes and add it to your combat journal, right? Don't just observe this training, deploy it in real combat. If you got value from tonight's episode and it resonates with you, share it. Share it to 3 people. Screenshot your own combat plan. Grade your systems, right? And list others to have them join the Final Boss podcast community, the Final Boss Nation. Make sure you go and follow us, right? Follow, like, and subscribe. Like, share, subscribe, right? And listen, if you don't have my book, go pick up my book, Go Time. Go Time, all aboard the Fired Up train. I launched it on Thanksgiving Day of this year, right? This a couple weeks ago. This episode right here is just one combat module that you can utilize to complete your business systems on warfare and battling competition and handling adversity in your own personal relationship, right? Right? Go pick up Go Time. Go Time will complete your arsenal and your training, right? And help you dominate in whatever you're doing. And remember, you're not here to be nice. You're here to be effective. You're not here to participate. You're here to dominate. You're not here to hope. You're here to conquer, right? Master the systems, synchronize their use, maintain your sharpness. I am the Final Boss. This has been the Final Boss podcast. The marketplace is your battlefield. Those ships are the vehicle, your relationship, your partnership, whatever ship it may be, right? Your competitors are armed. The question is, are you? We're going from chess piece to chess master to the chess board where you control the systems. From participant to final ball, right? from defenseless to weaponized, right? And to my smarts, to my final bosses, to my warriors, to my motivators, I'll see you again tomorrow, right? I'll see you again tomorrow. But I will also see you again on Wednesday, right? For our new segment, and Thursday. But listen, on Wednesday, right? Merger Wednesdays, right? It's going to be phenomenal. It's a new episode that I'm adding to the Final Boss Network, right? And until then, stay armed, stay dangerous, stay fired up. Tomorrow night, right? Tomorrow night, Tech Tuesdays with our SME, the Sensei, right? The Sensei. Now, as we always do for Motivation Monday, I know it's not Monday now, but it's Monday somewhere, and it will be Monday again. Until then, right? All aboard the fired up train, right? Stay weaponized, stay ready, right? And remember, if this resonated, let all of it marinate in your spine. And remember, there's a heavy pain that comes with discipline, but the pain of regret is even heavier. This has been the Final Boss Podcast. This has been Final Boss Nation. This is the Final Boss community. We are here. I am here in the present, right? And to each and every single one of you, no matter where you're watching, if it's Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, Kick, or for your listening pleasures on Spotify, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Be balanced, be equal, and most importantly, be smart. And to my man, Kev, I see you. I see you, Kev. Thanks for joining us, man. I appreciate each and last single one of you. This has been episode number 156. On our way to episode 200. Big things are on the way. Stay cool, stay light.
Welcome to the Final Boss Podcast, where microphones and mushroom clouds collide in the most mind-blowing chats. We're talking explosive topics, fiery debates, and the hottest guests. Imagine a creative space background, spacey vibes, and out-of-this-world conversations. It's like chilling with your best buddies, but with way cooler sound effects. Every episode, we take on the universe's biggest questions. You know, the stuff that keeps you up at night. And we do it with a bang. Want to know what happens when you mix gaming, movies, and pop culture? Boom! You get the Final Boss Podcast. So plug in those earbuds and get ready for a wild ride. Whether you're commuting, chilling, or just need a break, we've got your back. Hit that follow button and join us on this cosmic journey. Trust me, you don't want to miss these explosive chats. Catch the Final Boss Podcast now, where every episode is a blast. Stay tuned and stay awesome. Final Boss Podcast, bringing the boom to